Ina mana, ina reo, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you for the invitation to speak with you. I bring warm greetings from Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm sorry I can't be there in person. I very much enjoyed my visit to Germany in 2018, where I had the opportunity to meet with Chancellor Merkel. The COVID-19 pandemic has had far-reaching consequences that have affected every one of us. New Zealanders have watched our friends in Europe deal with the situation with courage and compassion, and I'd like to express our araha, our love and concern, to everyone who has been affected. New Zealand feels a strong sense of partnership with Germany. We may be distant geographically, but we share values and, on so many fronts, similar perspectives. We both desire the stability and freedoms afforded us all by global rules and institutions, free and open markets. We must work together to resist the erosion of these systems which have served us so well. I want to underline the strong values fit I see here with Germany. As the fourth largest economy in the world and the third largest trading nation, you have real influence and respect. We can work together across many fronts, for example, through our joint efforts at the WTO, through your efforts in the G7 and G20, and through New Zealand's role as chair of APEC this year, a group of 21 economies in the Asia Pacific, which represent some 60% of global GDP. But we can also cooperate more directly. Concluding negotiations for the EU-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement is a priority for our government. There is unquestionably economic benefit for New Zealand, but this is not a one-way street. There is value for the EU and Germany in engaging with New Zealand. We are a highly networked into the most dynamic region in the world. We already have high-quality, comprehensive free trade agreements with Australia, with ASEAN, with Korea, with CPTPP members and RCEP economies. New Zealand in per capita GDP is in the top 10% of countries. In absolute GDP terms, New Zealand is in the top 30% of countries globally, despite our small population. There is wealth and purchasing power in the New Zealand economy. We are number one in the world for ease of doing business and rate highly for the quality of our public service, low level of corruption and transparency. We're not just a country of great beauty with a strong pastoral base, we have world-leading niche high-tech companies. New Zealand is one of a select number of countries launching rockets into space, including carrying satellites for a German company. But the value of the free trade agreement between New Zealand and the EU lies as much in its strategic value as in its trade and commercial dimensions. We are both interested in trade that underpins what we value as countries: the environment, climate change, animal welfare, respect for labour and economic empowerment of women. I genuinely believe an FTA between New Zealand and the EU can buttress and strengthen those values. Germany is a strong and reliable friend for this endeavour, and I want to acknowledge this important support. But my message today is that New Zealand is looking not just for friends, but also for champions. And I very much hope our German friends will play this important role on this FTA. In this respect, we have taken note of Germany's Indo-Pacific guidelines, which we very much welcome. Germany is a valued partner and friend in our part of the world. Germany adds value through its commercial partnerships with friends, through its development assistance, and through its diplomatic and defence engagement in the region. This broad-based engagement contributes to the Indo-Pacific region's own resilience and stability. And while Germany and the EU are not part of the formal regional economic architecture of the Indo-Pacific, by this I mean the CPTPP and RCEP free trade agreements, it is vital that the EU is involved in the hard rules of the region to ensure its presence and to protect its export interests. Returning though to the COVID pandemic, I want to acknowledge the extraordinarily global response to COVID-19. Germany's contribution has been impressive, with its BioNTech Pfizer vaccines, which New Zealand is using to vaccinate our people. Together, we can start looking forward to recovery, rebuilding, and laying the foundations for the future. New Zealand is focused on a recovery that is sustainable and equitable, harnessing digital technologies, decarbonising our economies, and ensuring that recovery is for all, including women, small businesses, and Indigenous and ethnic communities. Germany, I know, is on its own transition journey, striving for a greener economy, a more digitally connected one, and one which is more diversified and resilient. Finally, Let me note that I'm aware of another form of transition that's taking place soon in Germany, namely a political one. It would be remiss of me not to mention the very significant role Chancellor Merkel has played, globally as well as in Europe, during her long and remarkable tenure as Chancellor. It's been important not just for Europe. I want to acknowledge the value we in New Zealand have also attached to Chancellor Merkel's leadership. I look forward to continuing my warm association with Germany and with you all. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa, and whalan dank.